ドジャースの大谷翔平は日本時間28日、本拠地で行われたレッズ戦に1番投手兼指名打者として出場し、復帰後初めて5回を投げ切り、9奪三振1失点の力投を見せました。5回を終えた直後の攻撃では先頭打者として打席に立つこととなり、その際の慌ただしい仕草が大きな話題を呼んでいます。5回のマウンドでは、1死からマクレーンをスライダーで空振り三振に仕留めるなど、三者凡退に抑えました。ベンチに戻る大谷を、三塁側スタンドのファンは総立ちで拍手で称えました。その際、大谷は額の汗を拭いながら、ゆっくりとベンチに戻ろうとしていましたが、直後に何かを思い出したように表情を変え、急に小走りでベンチへ、裏の攻撃で自らが先頭打者であることに気づき、慌ただしく準備を整えて打席に向かったのです。この様子を、投球分析家で、ピッチング忍者の愛称で知られるロブ・フリードマン氏が X に動画付きで投稿。
9番打者を三振に仕留めたばかり。さあ楽しもう。おっと、俺が先頭打者だ。
と、大谷の心の声を代弁するようなコメントを添えました。現地放送局もこの場面について、
これは大谷にしか見られないシーンだ。
と評しました。さらに敵地放送でも、大谷の5回までの圧巻の投球について、長く称賛の言葉を送っていました。これらの模様を日本語字幕付きでお届けします。
There's a huge crowd here tonight on Shohei Ohtani's 50-50 bobblehead night, and tonight is the 50 home run portion of that bobblehead. So hopefully for those fans who were here back in May to get the stolen base portion, they now have the complete set. So Jerry, we know something about Shohei Ohtani. He loves putting on a show when it comes to his bobblehead night. So we're going to take a look back at some of those memorable moments. Let's first start. August 28th of last year, it was the Shohei and Decoy bobblehead. Ohtani homered and had 2 stolen bases.
I love that Decoy able to run the ball, and it's a perfect strike. Outstanding job. Shohei was training Decoy leading up that first pitch, and of course, he goes big fly, 2 for 4 night, 3 runs scored as well, 2 stolen bases, and like his dog, he was running wild at Dodger Stadium.
And James, on April 2nd, it was the Shohei MVP bobblehead night, his first bobblehead night this season, and he hits a walk-off to beat the Braves.
I mean, of course he would, right? You get an off-speed pitch, diving away from you off the plate. I mean, that's just a grown man right there. That is just pure strength. I think he would tell you that's not the hardest hit ball he's hit all year, but that just shows you how good of a hitter he is. For him to stay on that pitch, go the other way, I mean, that's how you hit all these bombs. You're not going to pull everything. Love to see it from Shohei, and love the celebration at the end.
Now we've got Decorte everywhere in the stadium. And then, Jerry, let's now go to May. This was the first portion of the 50-50 bobblehead giveaway. Ohtani hits 2 home runs, has 6 RBI, and a 19-2 Dodger victory.
You mentioned going the other way. When you have this type of power, it allows you to stay back, trust your hands, and go a little oppo taco there. Outstanding job staying square. And then a pitch down in the middle of the plate, dead center field at night. Line drive homer once again. 2 bombs on the night.
Well, it's very clear that when it comes to Shohei Ohtani and his bobblehead nights, the numbers just don't lie. So for Shohei tonight, he's looking to get things going on the pitching side. Had 2 relatively tough outings for him. David Vassay, let's go back inside. Check in with you on just what you guys are expecting from Shohei Ohtani in this one today.
Well, Shohei Ohtani is still looking for his first win as a pitcher with the Dodgers. He's coming off a couple of rough starts, one in Anaheim, the other at Coors Field, where a lot of other pitchers have been made human. And it feels like it's hard to believe that Shohei Ohtani will have 3 consecutive starts that are below his standards. Dave Roberts talked about Ohtani kind of finding himself after not pitching for 2 years.
There's the strikeout to walk ratio really good. I think he's just made a couple bad pitches. What to learn? I think that the Denver start was an outlier as far as the altitude. You know, I don't know. I just think that he's still throwing the ball well. He's healthy. I do expect a really good one out of him today.
Do you think that he's still trying to find himself?
I think so, yeah. You know, given how much he's pitched in the last 2 years, I think it's completely fair that he's trying to find himself and hit his stride.
A lot of the damage in the last two have come at the end of the outings. Like, is getting deeper into the games, you think, been a challenge for him, or is that more of a coincidence to you of kind of how those outings have played out?
I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that just with most pitchers, the familiarity, getting the pitch count up a little bit higher, I think, lends itself to advantage hitter. But I'm like I said, I'm expecting him to get through 5, pitch well, and just continue to get better. And that's kind of why we went through this process of starting him slow, building him up. So the point wasn't August, 28th or 29th. It was, through the postseason and get him locked in. So he's working his way. He's getting there.
I was talking to Dodgers pitching coach Mark Pryor earlier today. He told me that people fail to realize that Ohtani is so unique, they forget that he's starting every day, being counted on to lead off for the Dodgers. So on normal bullpen days for him, he can't exert a lot as much as other pitchers on certain days during their bullpen sessions to work on certain pitches, to refine certain pitches, because he's playing that night. So it's something of a work in progress, but certainly the Dodgers expect, and so does Shohei, expect to show out tonight on his bobblehead night.
Thank you so much, David. And you are right. Look, when it comes to this player who he exudes excellence, we also have to give grace and understanding that it's going to take time for him to get back where he wants to be after not pitching for a few years. Now, in his last outing, Shohei Ohtani, as much as the stuff wasn't necessarily there, he had an inning of work in which he gave up 5 consecutive hits, something he doesn't do often, but also was hit in the line drive by a comebacker. Obviously, it was in the flesh. He is all good. But is there just kind of a concern with having that and now him looking to get back going today?
I think the leg is a non-issue now. At the time, it was very concerning. It hit him on the thigh, thankfully, and not the kneecap. You see him hustling. What showed to me and his teammates shows extremely tough, man. He stayed in the ball game, and yes, he did get hit around. But I'm anxious to see him make an adjustment. After that tough outing in Colorado, I expect him to pitch extremely well tonight against a really good Reds team. He's going to make the adjustment. He'll have fastball command and breaking ball command.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the leg is the issue as well. I mean, we've seen him the last few days in the box and looking good with his swings. I really feel like, with Shohei, and with the altitude in Colorado, the breaking balls weren't as sharp. They were leaving out over the middle of the plate. And the Colorado Rockies, they were confident. They were confident in their swings. They were going up there and saying, okay, you're going to throw that breaking ball. We'd rather probably hit that than that 100-mile-an-hour pitch you're throwing, when it's elevated. So tonight I like to see him attack more with the fastball and even more so inside.
Yeah, and of course, 2 outings in which the stuff wasn't there, so hopefully today he can really get back on track. And as we mentioned, with the bobblehead night, we expect the best out of him. We've got more to come. All the fans at tonight's game will receive the second Shohei Ohtani 50-50 bobblehead of the giveaway series, celebrating Ohtani's historic 50 home runs and 50 stolen base season from a year ago.
Sun's out, guns out for Max Muncy. That's a good sign when Muncy's taking batting practice, fielding ground balls at third base. Max, thanks a lot for the time, and happy belated birthday.
Thanks, David. Anything for you?
I was not able to get you a gift this year, but hopefully we could try to make that up later in the season.
Please don't. Please don't.
Max, things are looking pretty good from our vantage point. From yours, do you feel like things are trending in the right direction?
Yeah, we're getting there. We're just trying to be cautious and be careful with everything that we're doing. At this point in the season, we can't really afford to have anything, set me back. So we're just being real slow and real cautious and making sure that everything feels completely normal before we progress to the next steps. And, we'll see what that timeline looks like. But, we're getting close for sure.
Obliques are so tricky. When you're taking batting practice in the cage or on the field, do you feel like mentally you're able to trust it and let loose?
Well, that's one of the things you have to build up. Your first couple of days, you have a real tough mental block about letting it loose, and that's one of the things where you have to have those first couple of days where you're just swinging nice and easy, and you're seeing how it feels, and you're trusting it, and then once you realize that it's healthy, nothing's grabbing, nothing's sore, nothing's pulling, then you start letting it loose more and more, and you mentally start getting over that block. But that's that's the tough thing with injuries is you always have the mental block when you're first coming back.
Last year, we remember you had an oblique strain as well, and then there was something going on with your rib. Is that the first thing that you thought of when you felt something, and how have you tried to stay away from repeating history from a year ago?
No, this one felt different than last year. And also, thankfully, we went through what we went through last year, so we immediately checked all the things that eventually got me back last year, and everything felt like it was in a good spot. So it's just letting the muscle heal, and sometimes it's a couple of days, sometimes it's a couple of weeks. There's not really any telling, and that's just what we've been doing, is just trying to give it time to heal and see how it feels and progress from there.
When you watch the team the last 3 games in San Diego while you've been away, they talked about having more team at-bats, taking whatever swing you have to the game that night. Do you feel like, from what you've seen and what you've heard in the dugout, the team is starting to do that better?
Yeah, I think you're seeing more compete in the batter's box, and at this point in the year, that's really what you want to see. There's really not going to be much changing your personal numbers at this point in the year, and so it's really what do you have to do to find a way to win the game, and that's what you would hope to see more in the batter's box, and I think you've been seeing that the last couple of games for sure. It's what do I need to do to finish the job at this point? What's the situation calling for? What's this at bat calling for? And you've been seeing a lot of that the last couple of games.
Max, I'll let you go. Thanks a lot for the time, and I will say this for everybody to hear. You don't know what you have until it's gone. And Max Muncy is the epitome of that when it comes to people recognizing the value he has for this team. And look forward to seeing you on the next road trip, like Dave Roberts said. I'll save you some crab cakes, if you know what I mean, in Baltimore.
You can keep them to yourself. That's all right.
There he is, the man, Max Muncy. He is certainly a big part of this team, and good thing he's smiling the way he is. It's not just because he's around me. It's about being close to playing baseball. Right, Muncy? There he goes. Max Muncy has been our guest.
All right, so for the second time this season, the Reds get to face Shohei Ohtani on the mound in this game here tonight. Listen, when we saw him in Cincinnati, remember he left the game with cramps, left in the 4th inning in that game. That was still early in his return. He hasn't gone 5 innings at all this season. He was supposed to be on track for that already. What have you seen? What are they saying about Ohtani at this point in the season?
Well, the arm looks to be in shape. He's changed a couple different things. He's gone from the windup. He hasn't done that in the past. The mechanics have changed a little bit, and that's shown in a negative way on some of the pitches that he's thrown. They've been getting harder than they've hit in the past.
All right, let's take a look at his repertoire and see where he stands tonight. What are we going to see when the Reds dig in tonight against Ohtani?
Well, I mean, those numbers show you it's going to be the top 3. The 4-seam, which it's getting hit at 222, but that's 59 points higher than it was pre-surgery. The slider, 259, 116. Higher than it was in the past. The sweeper has been hit. I can't even believe I just said it out loud. 9 for 26 over his last 4 starts. The splitter is the pitch that he's kind of gotten rid of. It was his bread and butter when he came to the United States, but it puts a lot of stress on your elbow, so he's gotten away from it.
All right, you can talk about Ohtani and what he has done previously, but he's certainly shown that he's human in this return to the mound post-surgery. In his last 2 starts, Sam, 9 hits and 5 runs just in his last start against Colorado.
And that's why he hasn't made it to 5, because he hasn't pitched well enough to get to 5. So they're going to have decisions to make on, is this experiment to get him lengthened out and ready for the postseason, or is he even one of their options in the postseason? They've lost his last 4 starts. He's struggled offensively while he's pitching, which Shohei Ohtani's bat, it's important regardless of who's pitching. Certainly on the days that he pitches, I'm sure he'd like to help himself out a little bit. That hasn't been the case. So they've lost the last 4, and you hope they make it 5 today.
All right, we'll see here tonight. The Reds currently, as we start this game here tonight, the number is 3.5 now in the wild card chase. 3.5 games behind the Mets as the Mets play tonight.
But today, Cowboy, the Reds are getting a double dose of the Dodgers' 2-way start.
Yeah, it's kind of different riding the leadoff batter as the pitcher. I'm not sure I've ever done that before, but we're doing it today. And you look at the numbers for Ohtani, especially when it's bobblehead day for this guy.
He is winless as a pitcher. He has not gone 5, but as you mentioned on bobblehead nights, only once has he not gone deep. That was against the Reds.
Well, let's hope for 2 tonight.
Well, they are lining up for the Shohei bobble. The Reds are geeked up for this final game.
Never a bad time to have a Shohei Ohtani bobblehead night. And you know, his last 3 bobblehead games, he's 7 for 14 with 4 home runs and 8 RBIs.
Well, he's due right here.
He is. What, is he 0 for 1?
Yes.
What are we waiting for? The 2-1. Line drive base hit. It's Ohtani to reach base. First Dodger to do so against Lodolo.
Well, we didn't ask for it, Joe. We were like, we just talked about his bobblehead and what he does on those bobblehead nights. We're like, well, he's due. Let's go, Shohei.
After striking out 9 over 5 innings on the mound, Shohei Ohtani back in the batter's box to lead off. And he takes a strike. And he was thinking, all right, 5 innings in the books. My day's done. Oh, nope, I've got to go hurry up and get my gear on to lead off.
I mean, you're right. I mean, he's thinking he knew how big that inning was, and he's trying to catch his breath. He has to go out there and get ready.
Something you can only see here.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you, with his first at bat, obviously the same thing happened because he went out there, pitched, and then had to lead off the inning, and he didn't take a practice swing because he was getting his stuff on, all the different pads that he's wearing, shin guards.
Freddie was saying it's weird. You hit 325 like you did in 2022. You don't win the batting title. You hit 330 like you did in 2023. He didn't win the batting title, but here he is at 302 out in front. It's one of the goals of his every year is to hit 300. He's done so 9 times in an era where not many guys get to that mark. Ah, get it, Freddie.
Two and two. This is arguably the best pitching performance by Ohtani as a Dodger on his bobblehead day. Two-two. Grounded right side. For the first time, he's gone 5. That means he's in line for his first win of the year. Reds need runs. They're down 4-1. The two-way duties of Shohei Ohtani. Wiping his brow. Then, oh yeah, I lead off. I gotta go get my helmet. He began last inning with a whistled single into right and then a sea of soft contact. Led to a tsunami of 4 Dodger runs. When you combine what he can do on the mound with what he does at the plate, that is the best player on the planet. That's him.
So he's worth 2 players that make $350 million.
Hence why he's paid that way. It's a short.
Well, where the equalizer comes in, I think, for Ohtani in his career over the period of time that he spends with the Dodgers in this huge contract, he's probably always going to hit. I don't know that he's always going to hit 45 home runs, but he's going to give you some power throughout his career. How long will that right arm last? And what's the best way for the Dodgers to be able to use that right arm? Sooner or later, they've got to be, well, they're probably doing it right now, lobbying Major League Baseball to allow them to use him out of the bullpen and as the designated hitter.
And if and when a rule change like that were to be enacted,
it would be the Ohtani rule.
And there'd be so many other young talents that often would have to choose one path that it might be more open to do both. I mean, I think immediately in the recent generation of Zach Greinke, was a very capable hitter, was a two-way star in his amateur days, could hit still as a pitcher. But if that were open when he began his career, maybe it goes a little differently. I think of Lorenzen in a similar situation.
But no one individual pitcher has ever been able to hit the way Ohtani does, not since Babe Ruth.
And Babe Ruth, while he is rather famous for those dual duties, did ultimately, as he became a Yankee,
go right into
just become a position guy.
Right.
Yeah. Ohtani's already had a major arm injury. I'm not sure if the pitching to this extent would survive another arm injury. 2-2. That's not something you wish upon anyone, but just the blunt reality, especially guys who throw hard and with a lot of snap, and he has both. There's a lot of history there that arm injuries come.
And you look at the raw numbers, the 278, the 45 home runs, 85 RBIs, and he's doing that out of the leadoff spot. He's got a chance to score 150 runs this year. That is ridiculous. And pitch.
Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Dodgers, brought to you by Mercury Insurance. I'm Kirsten Watson alongside Jerry Hairston Jr., James Loney. Shohei Ohtani has finally picked up his first win of the season, being able to get through 5 innings of work. It was a good one. You hear the energy out here.
Yeah, listen, Dodger Stadium right now is absolutely rocking. The Big Show, outstanding on the mound. I love the way he was able to respond after the outing in Colorado. He pitched well. The offense, clutch hitting for Kike Hernandez, Dalton Rushing, also Michael Conforto, big fly.
Yeah, I mean, what about Shohei's breaking ball tonight? You know, we saw in Colorado, it was a little flat today. It was just nasty, getting 9 punchies tonight. Great to see him on his bobblehead night tonight. Almost went deep to the warning track, but we didn't need that run right there. We're good.
Honestly, I was so close to calling that shot. Oh, it would have felt so good. But right now, Shohei Ohtani, the player of the game, is inside with David Bassett.
What a night for the Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani. They are the first team to sweep the Reds this season, and Shohei with his first win as a Dodger. How did you feel out there tonight?
2連勝してたので、なんとかいい勝ち方してましたし、引き続き今日、まず自分のゲームを作ることを、心がけてマウンドに行きます。
When did you know you had the feel for the curveball? In the bullpen or once the game got going?
もう、この間の登板が終わった後に、今回はカーブしっかり、ゲームの中で試したいなと思ってます。
Was your goal tonight to be less predictable, going through the lineup more than once?
そうですね。カーブとスプリットしっかり投げたいなというか、試しながら投げたいなと思ってたので、いいところもあり悪いところもありでしたけど、なんとか5回までしっかり投げれたのが良かったかなと思います。
It was great to interview the pitcher, Shohei Ohtani, tonight. Congratulations on your first win wearing Dodger blue.
Thank you.
There he goes, Shohei Ohtani. Thank you, Shohei. Thank you. There he goes on his bobblehead night. Shohei Ohtani, a big night.
I was hoping he was going to go for the hug, guys. And when you look at Shohei Ohtani, what he's been able to do, he always seems to show out on his bobblehead night. It only seemed right he'd pick up his first win as a Dodger, guys.
I just love the way, and I said it earlier, the way he responded. That last outing in Colorado, obviously he didn't like that. But the way he was able to command that strike, now the first couple innings a little rough, but he was able to pitch out of jams, and that really started to kind of find his rhythm and timing with his delivery in that third inning. And James, you mentioned that breaking ball was outstanding to go along with that great fastball command.
Yeah, I mean, he got 4 ground ball outs tonight and 1 fly ball out and 9 Ks. So that means he was keeping the ball down. You know, the game we're watching, the breaking ball was nasty. A lot of curveballs tonight, maybe more curveballs than sliders. You know, he's talking about mixing it up, talking about not being predictable. He talked about Mark Pryor. Talk to him about that. Guys are watching him. Guys are watching the video. You know, they're saying, hey, look, you know you're already nasty. Sometimes they're sitting on one pitch. They're ready for that. And he elevated the fastball when he needed to. But the breaking ball was nasty tonight, and good to see that curveball.
We just saw that video. Obviously, Shohei Ohtani walking off the mound, thinking about, and then, oh, wait a minute, I got to run. I got to go hit. Sometimes I know it's still kind of foreign to us a little bit watching Shohei Ohtani not only thrive hitting, but thriving on the mound. Even he forgot.
Exactly. But also, when you look at kind of what this team has been able to do offensively, not only in this series, but if we go back to that final game of the Padres series today, they were able to, of course, early against Lodolo, he was excellent. But
yes,
in that 4th inning, Shohei Ohtani, of course, got things going, started a rally. They ultimately had 5 hits, was able to put up 4 runs on the board.
Well, the Dodgers dominate this series. They sweep the Reds, and they dominate this game. 19 strikeouts, starting with 9 from Ohtani.
Yeah, really impressive pitching performance. And I think for Shohei, he wanted to go out there, get 5 innings. He did that. I'm sure he was excited about getting his first Dodger win as well. The bullpen did an excellent job when those guys came in, really attacked the the hitters, but from an offensive perspective, to be able to get 5 runs, to be able to do 5 or more runs in 4 straight games, this is the type of offense that we expect from them, and it's good to see and hope they can continue this.
And they'll try to do that this weekend. You've got the starting pitching lined up this weekend. And, man, you look at the rotation right now. With it being healthy, it's freaky to look at.
It really is. And even in this series, they all set the tone. You know, it started with Emmett Sheehan in Game 1, and then Clayton Kershaw having a great outing. Now Shohei Ohtani. We talk about from a pitching staff that you want to keep the momentum going. You don't want to be the guy to kind of break this streak that they're on right now. So you want to continue that and go out there and perform.
Good times. 4 wins in a row for the first time since the start of July, and the Diamondbacks come in to continue this homestand on Friday.
So the Dodger battery tonight was pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. Show looked good out there. Everything was working. He got in a groove, and yeah, he gave us a good quality start, gave us a chance to win.
When did you know he was on with his curveball, and was he trying to be a little bit less predictable than he was in his previous 2 starts?
Yeah, I think you said it. Just trying to be a little less predictable with the fastball, and yeah, he figured out the curveball in the first inning, and it was working really well for him. And he used it, like you said, throughout his whole start, and it was a big pitch for tonight.
What was it like to be able to score those 4 runs without an extra base hit for you guys to keep that line moving?
Yeah, we faced a good starter. He's got good stuff. He gave it to us last time we faced him in Cincinnati, and yeah, like you said, we were just able to grind out some at bats, get some runners on base, and find ways to score runs.
What did you kind of say about the quality of Shohei's stuff? That like when he first came back, obviously he's mostly fastball sweeper. The fact that he's able to be so curveball and off-speed heavy tonight and still be as effective.
Yeah, he's kind of like Yoshi in a way. He's got so many pitches, and when you throw everything in the zone or around the zone, it just makes you that much better.
How much was kind of like the varied pitch mix tonight, something that was premeditated going into the start versus kind of seeing how he was throwing stuff early and going off that?
Yeah, we had a plan of kind of living away from the fastball as much as we had in the past couple starts. That doesn't mean we weren't going to throw it tonight, but yeah, we were very off-speed heavy early on, and that just opened up doors later for the fastball moving forward the last 2 innings versus a righty.
Have you felt a little bit more just like yourself as a hitter the last couple of weeks here, just with some of the production, just kind of the confidence ticking up?
Yeah, I've for sure started to feel a little more comfortable, and the sporadic at bats, like that's a good sign for sure. I haven't been able to really catch a groove since being here offensively, but now I'm starting to, like you said, feel a little more comfortable, not chase as much, and if I do, setting guys up, just understanding what my approach is, honestly.
After the 3rd inning, when you and Shohei were coming back to the dugout, he kind of put his arm around you in encouragement. How much did it mean to you for him to have the confidence in you to be able to throw what he did tonight?
Yeah, it's tonight was a little different than the past. With me and Sho, it was Shohei's calling every pitch the first few innings, and then just so happened in the 3rd I called a single pitch. I called 1 pitch, and from then on out, he wanted me to call the game. So, yeah, we kind of trusted each other. I made 1 mistake on the night as far as pitch calling, gave up a homer, and like I said, we learned from those things and moved forward. But, yeah, we were very comfortable working together tonight.
Do you guys ever stop and realize what's going on nights when Ohtani's pitching? I mean, he led off 3 different times tonight after having 9 strikeouts. Are you guys, have to take a double take when you see all that transpire?
Yeah, I mean, tonight I was definitely watching. I don't know which at bat it was, but I was watching him, jog off the field and run to get his stuff and, get it ready. And, he gets, seems like he gets like an extra minute or something to warm up when he's on deck or, around the time that he's hitting when he's going out there to pitch. But, I mean, it's crazy to see what he's doing and to go out there and be lights out like he was. It's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, you know what? I think so. Just early on, getting his sea legs back and getting going, it takes a while. And so I thought tonight was one of those nights that, he was locked in and worked some things out and really got into a good rhythm.
You talked about being less predictable tonight. Was that something that he was conscious of coming out of his last start?
I think so, because I think if you look at his last start, there was some kind of a lot of predictable fastballs where I thought today he used his curveball really well. I thought Dalton did a nice job and just kind of using his entire pitch mix. And early on, he just couldn't kind of get the feel for that split. But, you know, the sweeper, the fastball, the entire pitch mix got better as the game went on.
Was that embodied what you were wanting out of your offense, and has it started to manifest itself the last 4 games?
It is, and it has. You know, I think that even, you know, Kike's big hit with 2 strikes and finding a way to drive in a couple runs was huge, and Teo and Andy getting behind in the count but still flaring balls to right field, and obviously get the homer from Conforto later to tack on, and the walks, all of it I thought was a really good performance by us. And Lodolo's got a heck of an arm, and, you know, early on the shadows, and, you know, sort of kind of, you know, we just kind of coasted through those first few innings, but to kind of keep grinding and build an inning, that was really good, and a big win. You know, winning 3 in a row from these guys, certainly no one's done it all year. I think it just kind of speaks to the comfort level, being in competition game mode, you know, being able to strike the breaking ball when he needed to. And he made some big pitches with that curveball today, but still have 100 in the tank if you need it. But just being able to use your entire pitch mix. And, yeah, today was a complete performance by Shohei. And even, you know, through 3 innings, the pitch count was up there. And so for him to find a way to get through 4 and then through 5, first time he's done it was a huge accomplishment.
What's next for him, Dave?
I think it's going to be next week, and it's going to be, I don't know if it's, I think it's probably Wednesday. I think it's next Wednesday, and it's going to be 5 innings again.
Kike, 2 starts back and 2 different positions, and you found ways to contribute without extra base hits. Does it feel like this offense is starting to find itself and not trying to just slug its way to runs?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good start. Sometimes when you face really good pitching, it's tough to put hits together, a few hits in a row. But tonight we found the way. Lodolo's got really good stuff. I would say his stuff is, you know, as far as the lefty, it's up there and one of the best in the league. And we were able to, you know, Shohei get on base, and then a couple of lucky hits, and, you know, at that point I got to 2 strikes. So I was trying to put the ball in play, found a hole, and then rushing did the same thing. So, you know, if the pitching hadn't been as good as it was, the game would have been different. So they kept us in the game, and we found a way to, you know, put a couple points on the board, and they were great after that. And yeah, hopefully the offense keeps going after the off day.
See curveball right there, and that slider diving away into the lefty, that's tough to lay off. And I love the depth in the curveball tonight, getting Gavin Lux right there. Elevated fastball at 100, sit down, see you later. And then the curveball again. We saw more curveballs tonight. I'd like to see that moving forward with him. Fastball freezing him. Ellie was messed up all series. And then guess what? I'm going to throw the sweeper as well, just to let you know I got a few more pitches in the bag. Back to the curveball right there with the depth. And then that's almost like a slurve right there. Sometimes it goes straight down. It goes away from the guy. Just great job by Shohei tonight.
It was old school pitching. I felt at times I was watching 1986 Dwight Gooden with that power fastball and that devastating overhand breaking ball. You don't really see an overhand breaking ball from a righty too often these days. Very effective for the big show tonight. That was fun to watch.
We knew coming into this one, with it being a Shohei Ohtani bobblehead night, which we found out, if you have the stolen base one, put them together. It's like a puzzle. We knew it was going to be a big day. He, of course, picked up his first win as a Dodger, and he's inside with the media right now.
Was there extra celebration in the clubhouse, Shohei, after your first win as a pitcher?
いつも通りの、はい、お祝いをして、明日オフなので、みんなも早く帰って休みましょうって言って。
It looked like you had a pretty different pitch mix tonight, just using more of your secondary stuff. What led to that?
もともとも決めてたので、打線の反応がどうのこうのっていうよりは、今日はもうカーブとスプリットを多めに投げるっていうのはあらかじめ決めてはいきました。
Is something you think can kind of help you as you're pitching deeper into games and facing batters a second and third time through, just being able to vary your looks a little bit more?
そうですね、それもありますし、どちらかというともう今はどちらかというと自分の状態を上げていくっていう、イニングを伸ばすのもそうですけど、リハビリ登板の段階から少しずつ球種も増やしていった中で、今日はカーブとスプリットをしっかりと投げ切るっていうのは、一つ自分の中の課題として相手がどうのではなくて、そういうのは課題を持ってはいきました。
Now there is credit to the pitching they saw in this series.
there is.
Sheehan was great. Clayton Kershaw is a Hall of Famer. Shohei Ohtani had struggled largely coming into this game, but he did not struggle tonight. For the first time this season, Sam, he goes 5 innings. He strikes out a season-high 9 batters and wins for the first time since he was an Angel.
Yeah, 2 years. 2 years. He's just too talented. The numbers didn't look good because his last 2 outings, but he's only got about 27 innings on the year, so anytime he gives up a crooked number, it's going to affect his season numbers. So that's why the ERA looks so high. But those were, 9 innings out of the 27 that he's pitched this year. These were obviously today his most complete outing of the year. Gave up a single on the first pitch he threw, a home run on an ambush by Noelvi Marte, but otherwise I thought the breaking ball had really nice down action. You don't see him when we went over his pitch cast before the game. He doesn't throw the curveball a ton. I thought he did go to it early. When we were watching him play catch, I kind of noticed that, and I was like, wow, he's got some good down action on it. That's interesting. He doesn't throw it much. We had just talked about it, and he went in and he kind of established that early, and I think that opened up everything else for him as far as like his slider, sweeper, every other 10 pitches that he's got, and they were all good tonight.
You wouldn't be the first to talk about this, but watching what Ohtani does from both sides, and particularly how good he was on the mound. What do you see when you're watching that?
It's amazing, and there's just even things like the other day we were talking, I think it was Monday, he had a side day, I think DH, and it's not just what he's doing on the field, because that in itself is kind of absurd at times. But it's everything that goes into it that it's hard to fathom how, somebody can be that dedicated and that talented to pull it off.
How is he different this than just, you guys saw him a couple weeks ago. He's just coming back from everything.
Well, he didn't, I think he was, I don't know if he was cramping or something that day, but, when he reached back for high 90s fastball, real good breaking ball. He's got everything. He's good. He's really tough on lefties.
Were the strikeouts kind of a matter of pressing, or just they were pitching well, or which how do you feel it?
I don't think they're pressing. I think that other team has some really good pitching, and when they get you down in the count and you start chasing, that's what's going to happen.
And now to the man on the mound, also the designated hitter. But watching what you watched tonight, we don't know where it goes from here. But 5 innings and 9 punch-outs. Will he be a bigger part of the plan of the rotation?
I'd have to say if he continues to do things like this, because he's going to have some extra bullets that some of these other guys don't. And to watch him get out of the last inning, it was a ground ball to first. He's running over to cover first base for the 3rd out. He's walking back off the field. They're right here, right? What we're saying. He remembered he got to go hit. He went over and put on about 10 different apparati and walked straight to home plate, and then hits a bullet somewhere. It is unbelievable.
It was like Little League, though. The guy pitching remembered that he was up first and had to hustle back to the dugout.
試合後、大谷翔平の回答を受け、敵陣からも完敗を認める声が相次ぎました。試合中には、走者として2塁ベース付近にいた大谷と談笑する姿も見られたデラクルス内野手は、
彼は全ての球種をうまく操っていた。狙ったところにしっかり投げ込んでいた。今日は本当に素晴らしかった。大谷との会話について、ただ挨拶を交わしただけだ。彼は英語で話してくれた。自分はまだ日本語はわからないけど、努力はしているよ、笑。
と語りました。また、かつての同僚であるラックス外野手は、大谷がカーブを多投して攻めてきた配球について、
こちらもそれを前提に準備していたが、彼は本当に良い投球をしてミスをしなかった。こういう時は帽子を取って称賛するしかない。
と完敗を認めました。ご視聴ありがとうございました。明日以降も、大谷翔平の最新情報をお届けしてまいりますので、ぜひチャンネル登録と高評価を押してお待ちください。